Hey, it's Marzi. I've got purple omen all over my eyes. Hang on. I'm gonna try and be fast, but can you try and stick with me because it's such hard work trying to communicate. My brain's not working properly and I feel so sick. I'm usually bright red. You can see there's a little bit of it coming through from ghostly pale. Because when I was in hospital, I had a scan that required some radiation tracer, it's called, to be injected through a cannula so that it would get into my brain to have a SPECT scan, because we need to see about the decreased grey matter. And the SPECT scan doesn't show that, it shows other things. But anyway, what we didn't realise at the time is that the cannula was faulty and had moved from the insertion point out of the vein. So it was partially in the vein, but it was allowing leakage of the radiation into the tissue of my hand. And you'll see in the photos that I'll share in this post that the amount of leakage was quite dramatic. And I was actually able to pinch my skin on my hand and hold it up an inch, but I couldn't get a photo of it, obviously, because I only have two hands, and I didn't really want to say anything too much about it because I felt like that it may be interpreted as accusatory or like I was making some sort of complaint. And so yeah, I just didn't. I mean, the nurse who saw it, who got organised a phlebotomist, who's a sort of a more educated, my brain's not working properly, so excuse my articulation, but basically they're above a pathologist. So the MARTA is the only hospital that has a phlebotomist come, because they're specifically trained to, well, a pathologist is too, but a phlebotomist has more training. So the phlebotomist came because once the nurse saw the cannula site, she was like, this is not good. I had blood clots all around it, and you know, the tissue was all swollen, and so we had to change over to a new cannula. And what happened was, so I changed over to a new cannula. I had spent that day, so the SPECT scan was, say the SPECT scan was done Wednesday, I spent Thursday having the equivalent of what I feel like was a break, like a mini psychological, psychotic, nervous kind of breakdown. I was neurotic, I was overly emotional, agitated, crying hysterically, just like all over the place, and I couldn't get a grip, which is not me. I'm someone who can navigate almost any situation. I mean, I've yet to have anything thrown at me apart from losing Dad with such a complicated relationship that I have not been able to navigate. I'm really good at just sort of working through stuff. But this is just, I could not get a grip. I couldn't get a grip. So, and then on top of that, I was really sick. I had loss of appetite. I've had some issues with my hair. My hair comes out anyway. I have a lot of hair, even though it's thin, I have a lot of it, but it was coming out more than usual. I had gastro and vomiting, migraine. My nervous systems are all disrupted, just off the charts wackadoo. So almost like a really intense allergic reaction. And I was having like incessant seizures. The seizures just would not abate, and varying types, from foreign accent syndrome to foreign language syndrome to Tourette's, tics, seizures, paralysis, stopping breathing, like the whole thing. So I had all that happening, and I was perfectly aware of the fact I was not myself, and I couldn't rein it in. So I just felt like I was letting everyone down, because I literally felt like I was being the biggest and most painful, demanding patient. And that's not, I go out of my way not to sort of offend people or waste their time. So it was infuriating to not only to me, but I'm sure to them, although they were very kind about the way they responded, and they refused to acknowledge that, you know, I was annoying. They said I wasn't at all. But yeah, what happened was it leaked into my tissue. You can look at the photos. Now, in a normal person, the detoxing of a radiation tracer, which is just like not a lot of radiation, but it wouldn't be such a big deal, but I can't detox. So what happened was, overnight so the Wednesday was a SPECT scan and the radiation injection. Thursday was my meltdown. Thursday night, my neurologist organised an infusion of saline, which was amazing because I was so thirsty and I had cracked lips, which, you know, I drink so much water. I drank 5 bottles of water twice a day, so 10 all up. So to imagine that like and if you don't understand, I've got Shogun's, and I've also, radiation poisoning can cause this. Obviously we're talking about mild radiation poisoning, but nonetheless it's not great. And I could not satiate my thirst, and I was so dehydrated despite drinking water with salt in it, that all my lips are cracked and dry constantly. And then I started bruising, and you might think, oh, that, you know, that's no big deal, that's just a sign of healing. Well, it's a huge deal for me because I don't bruise. So the cannula site didn't bruise at all. Yeah, I've still got bruises. I can't really show you because it's on my dominant hand that's holding the phone. But I've got bruises from when they put the second cannula in, and I don't bruise. But bruising is a sign of radiation poisoning, even if it's mild. So I'm not trying to say this is some big dramatic thing, but it's not great either. Look, I tried to write this, so I really hope you're staying with me, because I can't write, I can't type, I can't access my language center of my brain. Nothing's working properly. I'm having more seizures than I normally have. I have no appetite. I constantly want to vomit. I constantly have gastro. I'm just constantly thirsty, having issues with pretty much everything. Really bad migraines day in, day out. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really scared. I need to try to see if I can organise accessing some safe God, my fingers are still really swollen. Look at that. I've got tiny hands, and yet they're huge. They look so weird. Not compared to the photos, but still. So I need to try to buy some products that are going to soak up radiation, but I need to first talk to my friend Les, who owns Safe Plus Health Plus Foods, to see if he can give me advice, because he had cancer, and he would know about radiation, and I want some advice from him as to what's the best approach to safely detox in a way that isn't going to further kind of damage me and weaken me, because I'm so sick already. I just can't cope with much more. So what I'm asking of you is, can you please help me? I very, very, very badly need your assistance, and I want to thank you who have helped me and who continue to help me, because it means the world to me, and I'm not able to properly say thank you all the time, and I feel terribly for that. But you must understand I'm in such a bad place physically that it's just the basic functions to send me into like panic attacks. I can't write. I have problems with dyslexia, dementia symptoms, seizures. Oh God, it's just been so hardcore. I mean, I've had all this stuff, but having it all at once is just like, it's a lot. It's too much. So, if you can, either give me advice, or you can please donate. I would really, really appreciate it. I'm so worried about the long-term damage, and I know a lot of you are not going to understand that this could possibly be anything dramatic, but I'm not a normal patient, if that makes sense. I mean, clearly, I'm like the boy in the bubble. Can you imagine if he came into contact with radiation in his tissue? That's what it is like for me. I'm just, yeah, I'm having a very dramatic reaction. And I'm sorry this has gone on so long, but I tried to write and I somehow deleted it all, and I'm just not up to trying to write again because I had to edit it 6 times and it was only about 4 sentences. So yeah, if you don't believe this is possible, that's fine. Please don't bother saying anything to me though, because I don't need naysayers. You're not in my body. You don't know what it is to experience what I experienced. Julia, my friend, came in to help me pack on the Friday after I had an MRI, and you're not meant to ever have radiation in your system when you have an MRI, and I had the worst reaction. I was lying on the floor of the hospital room, and I'm a germaphobe and I'm OCD, so the thought of being on an industrial carpet that rarely gets clean, that sees God knows what sort of fluids, and I was lying on the floor and I could not bring myself to care because I was projectile vomiting and I had gastro and I had a migraine and I got the chills. And then I get heat stroke, chills, heat stroke, chills, heat stroke, chills, heat stroke. I couldn't move. I couldn't handle light. I couldn't handle sound. I couldn't handle movement. Everything was setting me off. So, yeah. This has been a really long video. I'm sorry about that. But I really hope you stuck around. It's so important that you hear this. And I really need the assistance. So please, if you can, donate, even if, oh God, it's just enough for me to buy my prescription medications. But yeah, I don't know, the universe always seems to find a way to help me, so I have to just believe it'll work out and that someone will step up, or a few people will step up in small ways or big ways or however you can, and help me to get access to everything I can possibly do to alleviate this situation, because I'm just not sure how much longer I can go on suffering this way. Anyway, I best go. This is a really long video. I'm so sorry about that, but as I said, articulating myself is incredibly hard, and I probably sound really strong and really like clear, but I do not feel it in my head. It's like I'm trying to find a pin in the middle of a haystack, and I just, yeah, can't. Alright, best go. There's still hope inside me despite my defeated look. It's just the situation of not having money to be able to access something. I don't even know what I need. But no doubt it'll be costly. So yeah, love, light, blessings and gratitude. Marzi.